guys, so happy to be back here. I hope you are having a great day. I am very sorry that I've been a little bit MIA these couple of weeks, but I had some issues. I had some personal things happening that really stressed me out. And although I thought, or not thought, I had them under control with my routines and my approach, meditation and yoga and mindfulness and working a job I love. I also realized that psychosomatically I was actually having a lot of things happening, especially when it comes to um, I think the emotions that I probably have shuffled back in the back of my mind for many years, and they're kind of seeping through. And this is the dark night of the soul. Again, it doesn't go away just like this because you're starting to make progress and you're working on yourself. This is years of work, because ultimately I am 43 this year. It took me years of construct of thinking in a certain way, of being told what and what not, and it takes a long time to deconstruct. It takes a lot of time to step away from the conditioning that our mind and hearts have been put through society, parents that didn't know better, and so on and so forth. So the dark night of the soul doesn't come and go. The dark night of this, unless you don't want him to stay, which means you are not actually progressing. But when you're doing the work, when it comes in, you know that it's going to resurface. It's going to open a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And those feelings that come up, those things that come up have to be addressed. The issues that are existent, and you shouldn't let anybody make you feel that you don't have the right, so that you are not in tune with yourself when you make those choices. And self-doubt is normal, but if you have a calling, if you have something within, then listen to it. And I would just suggest actually to do a little bit of tapping on your thymus, because this opens the heart center, and it's such a great, powerful way to get in touch with your inner self. So I went through a lot of that stuff, and because I got very stressed, especially somatically, I actually had my immune system just lower down, and I started feeling really tired in the morning. I didn't understand why, because I didn't feel sick. I just felt exhausted. Turns out I had a UTI. So last Friday I felt really, really sick, and I went to the emergency room because I got my period. And I was like, listen, I really feel like I'm not feeling good. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just hormonal. Maybe it's in my head. Maybe I'm just hypochondriac. I don't know what is going on. Please, can you check? Can you help me figure it out? And of course, the doctors have very limited tools. But bless him, he did a urine test and said, well, you have a UTI, urinary tract infection. And I said, that's interesting. I never had one. And I also didn't have any of the symptoms. I didn't struggle with going to the bathroom to urinate. I didn't have burning urinating. I just didn't feel anything. And he said, well, this is very new. It's not in your kidneys. So the suggestion I have is to take antibiotics. I have very light antibiotics, which are granular form. They go in water, so you drink them and go through your urinary tract straight away. And they're safe. So I would say just this is the best solution. So while they were running tests, I sat there and I thought, well, actually, this is a very interesting impasse, because as a naturopathic doctor, I want to do everything naturally. But I think that when there are emergency cases where the risk of making the problem bigger exists, you have to take a balanced approach. And I actually learned in my own life, private life, that extreme never help anything. Never support growth, never make things easier. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take them. It's only 2 days, 2 nights. In fact, they are the kind of antibiotics that you drink. So you have your bladder empty, you drink before bed, and then they sit in your bladder until you empty the next day, which is really important. That's why it's very important not to drink a lot of fluids at night, so you don't have to go through the night, because you want that antibiotic to stay into your bladder. And I did so, and I felt great the next day, and I felt even better the day after. So 2 days. Then of course now probiotics, and at the same time I'm taking, you can see this, oil of oregano, as well as garlic. So I take 2 cloves of garlic, 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. I just chop them up, so I don't have to chew them, because otherwise, God forbid, we're gonna chase away every human that comes close to me. But I drink them, and they really just work perfectly well. Another way that you can do is that you chop the garlic, you put it in a glass of water overnight, so the water becomes infused, and then you drink it in the morning with this. And actually that's great if you're trying to just go into the urinary tract. Again, it's because water is going to go through your urine, so if you have a UTI, right? So this is something that I've been doing. I'm drinking hibiscus and red berries teas, cranberries, so just little things to support. But I have taken the antibiotics, and now I'm just supporting my body, understanding why this happened. So, working on my stress levels, understanding different things. I mean, even, how we go to the bathroom and how we wipe our derriere. You have to wipe it backwards away from our vagina, because we have such a very, very, even a little bit of fecal matter that touches the entry point of our vagina can cause E. coli bacteria that is okay in certain parts of the body, but not everywhere. You don't want in your vagina to create a UTI. So another suggestion, that every time to go to the toilet, please do wash yourself, whether you have a bidet like they do in Europe, or you can maybe just wipe yourself. And again, making sure that the back part of your body wipes backwards away from your vagina, and your vagina stays, you wipe it separately. So those things are very important. And it's amazing how people don't actually understand the basics of well-being and health. And this is why I've actually created the inner circle, to talk about all these things too, and teach you those things that are important to know. Because if you have daughters, they might have this problem. I know children that have UTIs, and we find out that it's because they're wiping their butt the wrong way. So, which is good, because just that, but we can change it easily. In any case, so that's what I'm doing right now. And then on top of it, I got the herbs from Dr. Morse. The eel whole herbs this tea is amazing. You just need a teaspoon in a teapot. So you brew it for 15 minutes, which is the time you want to brew any medicinal plant. And then I just pour the liquid in the same bag you use for enemas. It's the same bag, the same setup with a different nozzle. And then you douche your vaginal area. And then actually you can do a second round with this, where you put more water and you can drink the tea. And it's perfect, because actually 1 teaspoon gives you 2 or 3 rounds. So it's amazing. And the herbs in here are really great. We have burdock root, black walnut, which is actually great also for parasites, plantain leaf, dandelion leaf, great for the kidneys, golden seal, great for the immune system, slippery elm, amazing for digestion, white oak bark and mullein leaf, which is great also for supporting the adrenals, butcher's broom, fenugreek, and aloe vera, which again, great for digestive, great for blood. I mean, this is really for everything. This has got herbs that will work on your cardiovascular, on your blood, on your liver, on your pancreas, like on everything. And it's such a beautiful tool to have in your kitchen, because this is actually quite affordable in comparison to, for example, the pills or the tinctures. I'm also taking the female reproductive tonic, which will help with keeping our my vaginal area healthy. And then next week I'm going to start the protocol with pancreas support, GI moderate mover. This is actually great if you want to go to the toilet. I really love it. Thyroid support, always great to do that. Endocrine support, which is also great is connected to the thyroid with the pituitary as well, and for the kidneys and adrenals. These tinctures are amazing. I am not doing the lymphatic and kidneys on this round, but I will do it on next round. And I can tell you, these herbs actually come from the US, which I thought was smart because they were cheaper. But by the time people that were supposed to bring them here forgot them and sent them, and then we paid customs, I could have bought these in Europe 3 times over. So these herbs are very precious because they are very expensive because of all the shenanigans to take them here. In any case, I'm doing this. I'm supporting my body with this. I'm supporting my stress levels. I am really working on making sure that I can look after myself so I can be of service to the people that work with me, which is really, really key. You can't have an empty glass if you don't, if you want to help others. You just can't give what you don't have. So this is very important, pardon me. So this is very important, and I wanted to really talk about this balance, this approach. And, I had clients that came to me with UTIs, other things, and asked me, should I take antibiotics? I know you don't love them. I don't love the overuse and abuse of antibiotics. I am never gonna endorse using it for everything and anything. But in certain cases like this, like when you have a UTI and there is a chance, especially if you are in a country, if you're traveling, if you're in a country where the health system is not amazing, and you are like, in Morocco or Egypt or India or whatever, just you don't want to fluff around, because the medical system might not be up to par with and dealing with a bigger issue. And I really feel like if you can avoid it in the first place, do so, because you know what, taking antibiotics and then rebuilding the gut is a way better approach. As I'd suggested this to my clients, I had to be honest and say, if I'm suggesting it to others, that has to work for me too, because I can't just tell others to do whatever I think is right and then not do it for myself, right? So, and equally is when, if I'm using products, and I just showed you my new bottles of herbs and tinctures, I take them so that I can also suggest them to my clients, because, and eventually my my patients, because I don't feel that it's right to just suggest something because you do. I think you need to be able to say, hey, this is good stuff that I would put in my body, and then suggest it to others. Equally, if there is a protocol that you want to follow because it's going to promote health and support you in not getting sicker, that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to suggest it to others. You have to do yourself. That's how I believe medicine should be done. It's not extreme. And I truly believe, again, the allopathic medicine is fabulous when it comes to emergency and surgery, and really just tackling the issue so you have the time to think and prepare your naturopathic approach. And Dr. Morse, who is a naturopath for 50 years, who is all about the herbs, who understands the importance of looking after the body systematically, who understands the lymphatic system like no other person, even he would resort to taking medication if he's struggling. And why wouldn't you if you're struggling? Like, he had an episode with his kidneys, which he always credits to the fact that when he was a young boy, he lived on a farm for 20 years of his life, and he was having a lot of dairy and animal products and not having many veggies and fruit, and his kidneys are very sensitive, so something can just trigger what he has, and he expels stones with fruit, but he also knows that if the pain gets too much, the anti-inflammatory and painkillers are going to go really, really well for him, so he's going to take them because he doesn't want to be in pain. So you can see that there is this approach. What is the best thing to do right now so that you don't make mistakes that later you will regret, or that you can't sort out, or that maybe become bigger. So that is very important. Now, guys, if you are thinking again about the inner circle, I'm really, really aiming at having 100 of you joining and supporting and being together to learn something amazing. And why do I say this? The most important thing for us is to create knowledge share, and I am going to share everything I've learned, as I said it in on my page, just livelyinhealth.com/inner circle, that I will always tell you about the approach through plants, because I am personally vegan. I love animals and I don't want to hurt them, and if there is a way to be healthy without hurting them, that's the way I'm gonna go. And quite honestly, we have the tools to be completely amazing, healthy on a plant-based diet, understanding how to do it. But everybody has to get to it on their own accord, because if you force people, they will run away. And so the course is also showing you science. And science, for example, I can tell you now, it shows that a whole food plant-based diet is amazing, but it doesn't have to be exclusively plants. If you have a Mediterranean approach where there is a little bit of fish, then actually you can do this really well. And that also goes, to say you can do a whole food plant-based diet like I do without oils, but actually having a little bit of olive oil has been proven to be okay for the cardiovascular disease. Now, when it comes to diabetes, as you know, I talk about this a lot. I think fats are the problem, and as I learned from Dr. Neil Barnard, and if you want to become insulin sensitive, you can't just take out the glucose. You have to make your body insulin sensitive. So having too much fat can be a deterrent. So having oils which are processed makes no sense when you can have half an avocado or whole avocado, depending on your weight, what you have to achieve. Our body weight is very important in reversing disease, actually, such as cardiovascular disease and diabetes. So I will show you the whole science. I will talk to you about the studies that have been done, and not just epidemiological studies, but actually randomized, so that we can look at something that has been tailored and designed to create that. Epidemiological studies are wonderful, but at the same time, they don't take into consideration different factors. And I think this is the thing when we talk about Mediterranean diet. A lot of people think, but look at the Mediterranean countries, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Greece, they have a lot of cardiovascular disease. So if they are having it, how is that diet correct? Trust me when I say that they don't eat a Mediterranean diet as it is designed to be. They abuse the animal products 100%. They abuse the fats. They abuse the simple processed carbs. They do not go for simple whole carbs like fruit as much as they could. So they eat a lot of bread, a lot of pasta. Take Italy, for example, like pizza. On top of that, you put cheese, and then you put the big animal fillets and whatever. Like, people are eating much more than they're supposed to. In the Mediterranean diet, the approach is to have a little bit of animal products, a little bit of fish, a little bit of, in some cases, even dairy in some places, but is not actually something I would suggest per se. And actually allow the fish to be the main animal source that you'd rely on if you want that, because of the unsaturated polyunsaturated fatty acids, so great omega-3s. This comes with a disclaimer, however, I will say, and this is from, the fact that you have to consider this. When you're having fish from a farmed operation, you're going to still have the same problems as cattle meat, which is antibiotics and hormones. And if you have them from the sea, you have to be careful, because bigger animals will have, or bigger fish will have mercury, higher levels of mercury, and all fish will have plastics. So if you have a choice to actually do it plant-based, then do it. A lot of people talk about the issues with soy. But soy is destroying the planet. GMO soy is used actually to feed animals. It's not their natural food, but it's used because it's very easy to grow, very cheap, so it's used for that. You need to consider these things too. Our way of doing things, extremes and absolutes do not exist here. But I can tell you something, that a whole food plant-based diet has changed my life. Has changed many lives. I am mostly raw. I absolutely love it. And once you tap into the kindness that comes with this lifestyle, looking after the animals and actually understanding what we're doing to the planet in the process, as well as living beings, you will want to make a change. And I found that to be true. I went into it for health, not for the animals. I didn't really connect that yet until a couple of months down the line, when I'm like, oh, actually. And when I did that, it just shifted my whole perception. It made me look at animals in a very different way, which I was like, I always loved you, but I never really thought you were food, or that you were on my plate. The dissonance was really intense. So I think this is really important to tap into, please. But in any case, I will share the information in a very professional way, and without judgment, because I know for a fact that if people would want to make change, they make it. If you push them, they will resist. And I don't want anybody to resist a possibility to actually do something amazing for themselves and for the planet and for the animals, just by being pushy about it. Let's not do that. Let's be actually educational, informative, honest, okay? Because I don't want to spin things to suit my agenda. It's easy and it's great, but I don't to do when you want something, but I actually don't find it to resonate with me. It doesn't. And it's very important for me to be, wise about it, which is why it's very important for me, if you go vegan, please do it in a healthy way, because medication is tested on animals, and we want to make sure that we don't have to take them on a constant, level. Moreover, we also don't want to, we want to be healthy, so we have the energy to make shifts and changes and take responsibility and really be amazing humans. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope it resonates. I hope it makes you feel like you're connected and connecting to something bigger. And if you want to know more about the inner circle, please DM me. Let's try and get 100 people together. Let's make this group amazing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.